Welcome into the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by SeatGeek. You'll hear from players, coaches, broadcasters, and writers that cover the NFL on a daily basis. The New Orleans Saints podcast starts right now. Here's your host, Erin Summers.
Saints Minicamp kicked off on Tuesday. It was really good to see all of the fans back out at the facility, and they absolutely showed out. They were loud, and they stayed after practice getting all of the autographs. I mean, Rashid Shaheed was the last player on the field, and he signed every single last autograph, took pictures. So I know the guys really appreciated having the fans out, the support. And there was a lot of acknowledgement from the players as the fans were yelling at them throughout practice. So it was just fun to be in that environment again, especially on a day that was warm. And it really gave a lot of these new players an introduction to what they can expect once training camp comes, because it's a whole other animal out here, but it is something that even head coach Kellen Moore said is a benefit because it will help them with conditioning and giving them an edge. As far as attendance today, Alvin Kamara for the first time was at practice, saw him, Tyrann Mathieu as well, JT Gray, and Nathan Shepard. So everybody was in attendance, which is awesome. No new injury news. Foster Moreau and Dallas Beanham were there working on the side, but they are not able to participate due to their injuries. We did see a couple players return to action. Jake Haener got back on the field. He was throwing some. Dallin Holker and Quincy Riley all were participating in position drills. For the first time this offseason, we did see tight end Taysom Hill on the field. He was watching practice, unable to participate as he's coming back from that ACL injury, but it was really good to be able to see him again. Didn't have a brace on or anything like that. Seemed like he was moving around okay. Don't know where he's at in his rehab process, but always good to see him there back with the team and starting to study up on this new Kellen Moore offense. We saw a familiar face as Shane Lemieux, offensive lineman, was on the field with the team today, and Cam Akers, running back. He spent the last season with Houston Texans and the Minnesota Vikings. So we'll find out some more information about those two players and their roles, but they were in attendance today at Minicamp. Here is head coach Kellen Moore on the structure of Minicamp. Again, it takes place Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week.
We've spent a lot of time through our OTA process of really the foundation of the schemes, the concepts, and now we're starting to introduce situational football through this mini camp. And so talking about what a second down is, second and long, second and short, what a third down is, when they can play fourth down football and how we got to change according to that. And so we're introducing those phases, and then training camp will have a really heavy situational emphasis as we go.
Team got a lot of good work in, but there were some lighthearted moments, especially after practice when they were done back in the locker room. Cam Jordan took his spot to answer questions from the media, and Trey Fluellen actually jumped in the media scrum and started things off.
That's year 15.
Yeah.
How's your body holding up? And what's the difference in, do you see a difference in the rookies and the guys that are, coming in?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's good. So you're 15. How's your body feeling? You feeling fast?
Phenomenal.
What are you looking forward to, man?
Looking forward to put actual pads on, and then I can gauge the rookies. You can't gauge rookies and young guys when they ain't got pads on.
I'm a rookie myself, so just to hear a vet say that. But back to the reporter. All right, you got the new defense. You got new DC. Mm-hmm. How you feeling about everything that's going on with him? He comes in with a lot of energy. He's bringing a lot of people
a lot of direction.
There we go. So give us a little bit about Staley that you feel everybody needs to hear.
Look. When you think about how much talent we have at the edge, and now it's a true edge. Last 14 years or so, you were saying, hey, there's defensive ends and then there's edge rushers, and now we're falling into that edge rusher category. So with that being said, we've got a lot more different aspects to bring to a defense. So it's going to be up to veterans like us to lead young guys like you in the right way. So Tyrann, Jay Reed, guys that you can see had immaculate careers and try and go after. So far as the defense in the whole, you got guys like Demario Davis, myself, Carl Granderson is in like year 7 now. Crazy to think about. But these are all goals that have been earned each and every day.
You heard it here first. Trey Fluellen from the New Orleans Saints. Thank you, Cam Jordan. I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, indeed. Get out here.
You can listen to that full Cam Jordan interview on NewOrleansSaints.com, as well as Coach Moore's interview and some other players we got after practice in the locker room. There'll be highlights and pictures for you to check out as well. One big highlight from the day was Blake Grupe. He had a 61-yard field goal, and he probably could have got 1 or 2 more yards more out of it, but that was really impressive from him. It was good to see Tyrann Mathieu back on the field. Haven't seen him yet throughout OTAs, and he gave his thoughts on Brandon Staley's defense.
I always thought his defenses, they played hard. They moved around a lot. Even from like the back end perspective, I always felt like his safeties were involved, in the game, and so they play a lot of top down. You could go watch Derwin James film, a couple other guys film. So I think that's exciting.
The safeties in general really stood out today. Justin Reed had a phenomenal day. He had an incompletion over the middle that he forced on a Tyler Shuck throw, and then he had another big pass breakup later, but he was flying all over the place. And then the rookie, Jonas Sanker, he had the sole interception on the day. Moving on to the quarterbacks, we're still tracking that quarterback battle. Spencer Rattler again took all reps with the first team. Tyler Shuck then came in and took reps. We did see Jake Haener, as I mentioned, doing some of the drills. Haener attempted some short yardage plays, still is working back from that injury. I caught up with him after practice.
Great. Jake, we saw you out there throwing again. So how was it to get back on the field?
Yeah, no, it was good. Just kind of getting into a progression again and trying to ease into it a little bit. Can't really cut it loose yet. So there's still some hesitation, but for only, being 20 days ago, I feel like we've come a long way rather quickly, and I feel good about it. So they said I could go out there and throw a few routes on air. I had a pitch count of 40 today, so I think we were just under that. But for the most part, it was productive, and it was great to be back out there.
Yeah. I was talking to Coach Tolzien, and he said that you've done everything that you could to stay prepared. You're on top of things. So what has the process been like for you?
Just like I always do, just try to do everything I can to, be ready and be prepared and learn this offense, like I know how, and sit in meetings and listen and do all the right things and be a good teammate. So, I think I've done that. I've been in the training room early. I've stayed late. Ben Stolberg in the training room has done an awesome job helping me out, coming in on Memorial Day weekend, coming in on Memorial Day, really trying to get my rehab kicked off on the right foot and get me back as fast as I can. And it's supposed to be a 4 to 5 week injury, and it's just hitting 3 weeks, and we're already back on the field. So hopefully get cleared for full participation at the end of the week, and then just go through my normal summer process.
Overall, the plays that the quarterbacks attempted did consist of a lot of underneath stuff, check downs. They weren't really going for the home run balls today, just really trying to move consistently down the field. Rattler was 10 of 15. He was the one who had the interception Jonas Sanker was able to get. And then Tyler Shuck went 11 of 16. He didn't have any interceptions, but did have a few incompletions. To further break down the quarterbacks and just to get to know another one of our coaches a little bit better, I was able to get quarterback coach Scott Tolzien after practice to fill us in on what he's seen so far throughout camp and what he's expecting going forward.
Coach, thanks for joining me on the New Orleans Saints podcast. It's great to have you. The quarterbacks have been a hot topic all offseason already, but how are you doing kind of settling in here with the Saints?
It's been great so far. The people couldn't be friendlier. Speaking within the organization and even our neighborhood, that we've it's been a quick adjustment for my family, but it's been a great one. Everyone's been super welcoming.
You were in Dallas, so you're kind of used to the heat, but getting out here for the first time, minicamp in front of the fans, how was it?
It was awesome. The crowd was great. It's funny, I just talked to Brandon Cooks and Cedric Wilson, who I was with in Dallas, and just asked them to compare, and they said, "Oh no, it's realer here because of the humidity." But at the same time, you can use that to your advantage too, as from a conditioning standpoint.
When you look at the quarterback room here, it's unique, a young room, and you have a couple guys that just got drafted this year. So what is your take on that? And do you kind of see it as maybe a benefit because the competition is going to be really tight?
Sure, definitely a young room, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's good to that too. You get to kind of shape their experiences, if you will. And I really, to this point, have really appreciated how they've gone about it. Had a great work ethic, right mindset, and at the same token, what is it? It's June 10th, so we've got a long ways to go, and we'll accept that challenge.
When you're evaluating the guys at this stage, what are you looking for then?
Really, it's a preparation thing, and then just consistency. That's the name of this position. Really, that you look at any position in sports, is consistency is what you're after. So, starting point is great preparation, and then as we gain a library of reps, kind of taking everyone's reps. So if you're, Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler, but maybe he misses a read, let's say, just for instance. If you're Tyler and you can learn from that rep, it's going to do you a lot of good, and vice versa. If we can all draw from those reps in a new system, myself included, I'm learning some new stuff too, that's going to do us well down the road.
When you look at somebody like Spencer Rattler, who did get thrown into the fire pretty early last year, how much do you kind of take into consideration what he did last year?
It's a good question as far as what are we taking from last year. To me, it's all our job is measured in kind of what have you done lately, and so it's a clean slate for everyone. Heck, that's one of our team themes with Coach Moore is clean slate, and that goes for me as a coach. Those guys don't care what I did last year in Dallas, nor do I. It's on to a new year and what we do each and every day.
How about Tyler Shuck? He comes in kind of an unknown for a lot of people that were following the draft, but you definitely notice him out here. He's a big guy. Seems like he's got good command out there. What stood out to you so far?
Well, he's accurate. I think everyone in our room, we have an accurate group, so that's a great starting point. And then from there, it's really about just gaining consistency every day. So again, it's June 10th. I'll restate that, and that's really the way I feel about it. Like, it's a long season, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's build the house the right way. Let's start with a strong foundation in OTAs.
How different is it for a rookie quarterback going up against an NFL defense for the first time?
Great question. I mean, I actually did it 10 years ago, and the speed of the game is different. But I think one of the big things, and I preach this to the guys, is you get a lot more free time at this level. That's one thing people don't understand. When you're in college, you've got tutors and you've got academics. You get to this level, and there's quite a bit of free time. So there's a lot on you in your preparation, and I've been pleased with how the guys have handled it so far.
You have a lot of former quarterbacks in the coaching staff between you and Kellen and a couple other guys out there. When you're evaluating the players, is it like, all right, this is mine, these are my guys, too many cooks in the kitchen, or do you appreciate having all the opinions?
Absolutely appreciate it. Those guys, we see a lot of the same things through the same lens. And those guys have been great teammates to work with as coaches in the past, and that's invaluable for me. I mean, I don't have all the answers. I'd be the first to tell you that, so I'm constantly bouncing off of them, and they're doing the same, and we collaborate. I think the thing that we do understand, though, all having played the position, is just to your point. If you have too many voices at once, it can be problematic. So as long as we see things through the same lens, that can be a really good sounding board for the quarterbacks.
Sure. How have you evolved from your days playing at Wisconsin, 7 years in the league, and now throughout your coaching career?
I'd say more similarities than differences, in that, just like you'd say about your job, or anyone would say about their job, is like you got to be true to yourself. And so the things that I believe in, being consistent, working hard, staying humble, like those things, all those main buckets carry over. You also learn from experiences, but like the steak is still the steak. The sides might adjust, but you keep the main thing, and you got to be true to yourself and be authentic. You
spent some time as a backup to Aaron Rodgers, so how's he going to be with the Steelers?
Well, he should thrive. I mean, I'm biased having played with him. He's an awesome talent, and he was a great teammate for me. So, first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. It's going to do a lot of good for that organization, just like he did in my time playing in Green Bay.
When you got into coaching, what was it that drew you to it? Did you always want to be a coach?
I think it was my best mentors in life. Forget football aside, my best mentors in life are my coaches. So that goes for my dad, who coached me in youth ball, my high school coaches, my college coaches. I feel like I was given a gift from God, these coaches that I had that were just like, forget football. They were the best mentors in life, people that you could go to talk about anything. And like, when you think about living a rewarding life, like living for other people, like, you want to do what they did for me. You want to try to give back and pay it forward like they did for me.
Jake Hader was able to get out here on the field today. Haven't seen him for some time, not throwing at least, because he's dealing with that oblique injury, but got out here, threw some balls today. How has he been able to develop while he's not been able to fully participate? He's
been great. It's like we talked about, just controlling what you can control, and he's done that to a T. Just hasn't changed his preparation, asked all the right questions, and it's hard being patient when you're in his shoes. I get it, but he's done a great job of it and not let that slow him down as far as learning our system.
while the fans are out here, they're getting a little bit of a taste of what Kellen Moore's offense is going to look like and what this team is going to look like. It's hard without any pads on,
Sure.
a little different. But how would you describe what the quarterback is going to have to do in this system?
Today was a great snapshot of that as far as we got our tempo going. So playing with pace is a big part of our deal, and keeps the defense off guard, and hopefully gets us into a rhythm. So that's one thing I've learned from Kellen is that's a huge weapon if we use it the right way. So today was the first step of that. We got a long ways to go, but it's off and running.
All right, you got a couple more days you got to make it through in this heat, but then you have some time off before training camp gets underway. So what are you going to do with it?
So I'm from Chicago. My wife's family is from Milwaukee. Both those cities are 2 hours apart, so it gives us a chance to go see family. And I got 3 little kids. They get to go have fun with their cousins. And then we'll be here on the front end and the back end. So it's got our kids acclimated in school already, and that was a super positive thing because they've got a group of friends here, and then they got their group of friends back home. So we'll try to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so you're already settled in here in New Orleans.
Yes, yeah, it's community's been fantastic. And the food's not bad either.
Not bad. And you'll get a good taste of what the fans are like, obviously, here at minicamp. And then once the season gets underway, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
That wraps things up from the first day of minicamp. We'll be right back out there Wednesday, outdoor practice again, as long as the weather holds up, which I hope it does, because we would love to have the fans be able to see the entire practice again. It was a lot of fun seeing all of them out there, and I'm so glad that everybody came out. We'll keep you posted on everything that you need to know on NewOrleansSaints.com, or follow us on Twitter/X @Saints. And we'll be back here tomorrow following the second day of minicamp with another Saints podcast.
Thanks for listening to the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by SeatGeek. Join us 3 times per week on NewOrleansSaints.com, the Saints mobile app, or you can download the podcast on iTunes. We'll see you next time, right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by SeatGeek.